Talking about QBs though.
We were talking about quarterbacks, and earlier pre-show, John mentioned a couple of things about the Atlanta Falcons. So let's talk about our QB competition winners. Let's start with Atlanta.
Well, I think Marcus
Atlanta.
Mariota is gonna win that job. But yesterday, Dennis Ritter was one of two rookie quarterbacks to throw a game-winning touchdown pass. We'll talk about the second in a few minutes. Now, I think for most fans, you guys would probably agree with me. They look at Marcus Mariota and say whether or not this is the long-term option for the entire season. Long-term, he's not the. Well, let me reuse my words. He's not the long-term option, but whether or not he's a starter for the season, there's a good chance Marcus Mariota does not stay healthy for all 17 games. And at some point, Dennis Ritter, who's trying to make it a competition but is lagging behind, will get the chance to go into the field as a rookie and show what he's capable of. Yesterday, he went 10 of 22. But like I said before, he rolled down, had a pretty awesome touchdown pass on the run. And to me, he looked pretty solid in that play, but overall, I don't think he's ready to contribute day one. But if there's any team like we're talking about before, like with Trey Lance, if there's any team that Dennis Ritter can just come in and immediately step in and make an impact for, it is the Falcons. Get Kyle Pitts, Drake London, you just throw it up to those guys. There's so much size and versatility there that on both sides of the ball, you're going to have a mismatch no matter where you go. And I think with the way the Falcons are building and designing their offense with Arthur Smith, whatever young quarterback comes in there, they're going to stand out because of how easy they're going to make it for them.
Well, I'm with you on that. I'm with you that Marcus Mariota is probably going to start those. I think he's going to start the whole season. I
Yeah,
do.
it's not a competition to me
Yeah, it's
Barring
really
barring barring injury though.
until injury
yeah.
comes.
Unless Desmond really just lights up the show the rest of the way in the preseason, and it really makes them second guess. Like, wait a minute, dude, do we actually have a chance to win with this guy? Like, takes me back to Matt Flynn and Russell Wilson. Like all of a sudden, Russ is the guy. He did more than enough in the preseason. You're like, you know what? Let's just. What are we waiting for? If this guy's ready, just toss him in there. And we had a topic like that a couple weeks ago when we spoke about quarterbacks just going straight into it. If they're ready and they're getting a good grasp of the offense, then why not? But ultimately, Mariota's going to start that team. He's going to start for that team. I think Atlanta's going to be a fun team to watch with him under center, and then maybe Desmond Ritter will get his chance to shine at some point later in the year. But I think it's Mariota. Mariota has the bull by the horns this
He
time.
will by draft season.
Atlanta. I just want to formally apologize to Desmond Ritter. I was calling him Desmond Riddler last when we talked about the Falcons last
Well,
episode. That's my
John was
apologies.
calling him Dennis.
Yeah, you called him Dennis.
John, yeah,
Oh,
Did I actually say that?
yeah, he called him
oh,
Dennis.
John called him Dennis. Oh, okay.
I didn't mean so.
Oh, well,
Desmond.
I'm
We're sorry,
apologizing for
Desmond.
calling him Riddler. I thought it was Riddler. Riddler's a cooler name. You should change it. Just think about all the marketing behind that. You can make the money. It's just you could print money. Yeah, no, we talked about the NFC South very recently. So Atlanta, we talked about it. Mariota is going to start the season, I think. But like I said, I see Ritter getting in there as a starting quarterback this season. If not due to the pressure from the front office or just the coaching staff seeing Ritter outperform him in practice and whatnot, but also, I mean, we've seen it. Mariota gets hurt every season. He's never played a full season, so it's bound to happen. Um, I guess another one we could talk about really quick because we've already talked about the NFC South. Like I said, very
Real
recently,
quick.
Carolina. My boy Baker looked very well in the preseason game for his first drive. Had a nice long drive. I think it was 13 or 14 plays, about 6 minutes. Ended in a field goal. Delivered a nice ball to DJ Moore in stride, running a guess you would call it a slant, maybe a drag route, something like that in between that. And then he delivered a very beautiful deep ball to Robbie Anderson while getting hit. Robbie wasn't able to hold on to it because he got jarred by the safety coming in. But yeah, I think Baker looked very well, especially coming off the injury. I think he's the shoe in for the starter. I don't think Darnold's even on his level. So yeah, let's go Baker.
Yeah, there's no way Darnold's winning that job. But I do think you guys are putting some disrespect in Darnold's name.
No, I'm not.
Oh my gosh, I don't even want to hear this. By the way, did you
I
have
really
something to
don't
say about
either.
the Falcons before?
Yeah, Ritter yesterday was making a lot of throws in the move that his receivers were just dropping. And he was really impressive as a runner. He had 59 yards total on like 8 rushes. He looked pretty solid. If those receivers and Drake London, those guys are catching passes in the NFL, I think I last week and compared him to Ryan Tannehill, but he's more athletic than Tannehill, though he was a former college receiver. I think his pro comp would be Dak Prescott if everything hits for Ritter.
That
So I think more likely than not, the Falcons draft a quarterback next season. Would you guys agree? Where are the odds in that?
the Falcons draft a quarterback in the
Because they're
first
gonna
round
have a
next year?
top 4 or 5 pick.
No, no, no.
You don't
You
think
just
so?
took a guy in the third round, see what he's got at least.
I think they
Well,
will.
they will see what he has,
Yeah.
but if you're not a believer, then I mean, if his ceiling you believe is Dak Prescott,
He's a little bit less accurate though, and I think he's got better arm than
I
Dak.
mean, but then again, you know what?
Or
Let me
arm
take
strength.
that. Then again, we've seen stupider things. I mean, the freaking Arizona Cardinals took Josh Rosen with what, a top 10 pick one year, and then
the next.
basically flaked him out and said, "Oh, never mind,
Oh,
we were wrong." And
exactly.
they took
That's
Kyler
why I'm
Murray the
saying
next year. No, no, that's what I'm saying, John. Listen to the words come. I said, "Never mind." We've seen stupider things in the NFL from teams, so I could see Atlanta taking somebody in the first round.
when I
I've
said you
seen
guys are
dumber
putting
things.
disrespect on Sam Darnold's name, it's because Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen never had a chance to succeed in the NFL. Never.
No,
Would
Sam
you
did
disagree?
last year. Sam did
No,
last
he
year.
didn't. He was
Ro-
hurt last year. His offensive coordinator got fired midseason. His running back got hurt. His
Whoa,
coach was on the
whoa, whoa,
hot
wait,
seat. He
time
had no
out, time
offensive
out,
line.
time out. What did he just say? What did he just say, Justin? The
Darnold
offensive
got hurt
coordinator got fired, right? How much
midseason.
turnover has Baker gone through his entire career? But you like to slide that under the rug and say, "Oh wait, no, that's Baker's fault." Continue.
But Baker had an offensive line by the second, third season he was in Cleveland. Baker had weapons. Baker had healthy running backs for the most part.
But wait, John,
Baker had the coach of the year.
don't you say, don't
Baker
you
had a
say
coach of
one
the
of the
year.
keys to your success? Don't you say don't you say one of the keys to a young quarterback success? You say talent around them, and what's the other one?
Circumstances, situation.
Stability.
But the Browns in 2019 and 2020 are not the Browns of old. It's a new organization with a new regime, new
That's
coaching, and a
interesting.
new roster.
That's
The only thing
interesting
that's the same is ownership, but ownership made a better
because
decision in who was
I'm
running their team
I'm
and
pretty
their
sure
new
I'm pretty sure
roster.
the front office, when wanting to get rid of Baker, said that Baker was immature and stuff, and they wanted to get a more mature quarterback. And I think everybody here knows John's feelings on Deshaun Watson. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
I'm
real
I'm not a
smart thing to
fan of
say.
a serial sex offender, but the point being they're just doing that for PR. They're trying to make the situation as
Well, they that PR is
better
stupid because
looking
they
as
sound dumb
possible.
as hell.
Well, I mean, so is fully guaranteeing $230 million for Deshaun Watson. You got to do the best possible thing to make it look better. Andrew Barry and that entire organization has done a much better job over the last 5 years when they've had Baker, or last 4 years, than the team did the previous decade before him. So, I mean, Sam Darnold's put in a much worse situation than Baker, and you can't deny that. He had coaching changes, he had offensive coordinator changes, and he had no talent around him. No
You,
receivers, no weapons.
you know what's my thing, John? As much as we want to point at talent around the quarterback, and I'm with you. I tend to do that. I'll look at the talent around them and be like, well, he couldn't succeed with that. But at the same time, I just don't feel like Sam Darnold, I guess, has the IQ to be a very good quarterback. I don't
And
think
that's
he,
perfectly
yeah, I
reasonable.
just don't think he makes the smart throw. And I feel like I haven't seen that growth, whether it be his mechanics in the pocket. I remember after his rookie season, it was all right. Let's see if he can get used to playing in the pocket. Let's see his footwork. Let's see if he can start making those adjustments. And he had a decent second season, but still there was those concerns about his mechanics. He didn't fix them. In fact, he got worse. Uh, he's never completed a full season. I remember what didn't he have mono? I think in his second year. Every year he's been injured. It's he's just how are you going to grow if you're not on the field? You got to play the games too, man. You know, not I'm sorry, 9 touchdowns and 11, 13 interceptions isn't going to cut it for me. And that's where I go back to his decisiveness. I don't think he's the quarterback that's going to make the smart play for you. So that's why I really don't think it's a competition out in Carolina because at least Baker is more decisive. And while Baker may have some bonehead plays every now and then, it's nowhere near on the level of what Sam Darnold has showed us.
Hmm. Yeah. I,
God
I, I
forbid Sam Darnold plays against New England.
yeah. I don't. Dude, there's no competition there for me. So next one I guess would be
Seattle, before I cap it off with the best one.
Yeah, Seattle, yeah, Lock and Gino.
Your
I
boy
texted
look
John.
good, John.
I texted John and I said, would Seattle be considered a part of this, or is Lock already over Gino? And he texted back and he said all points signed to Gino starting, which surprised me. So I guess as a competition, it's probably the worst QB competition in the NFL, if we're going to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't. Either way, Seattle's not going to be a good team this year. Um, so it's really just pick your poison, and I really have no say in it because it's just take the lesser of two evils, I guess.
It's an ugly one because either way, you're the worst starting quarterback, in my opinion. Gino has been in Seattle for 3 years now, so there's familiarity in their offense, and I'm kind of afraid Pete Carroll's trying to win. He just turned 70, so hey, like, I understand. But the Seahawks team, while there's a good amount of talent here, enough to talk yourself into saying, oh, we can be competitive, maybe we can push to be a wild card team, you really can't. But they've made improvements right after trading Russell Wilson to get a better offensive line, developing the tackle spots. They have good receivers. Now, will they regress or not produce at the same level without Russ? Sure, but they have running backs as well. Geno Smith may be the more proven veteran, but I just don't see starting him. You might as well just give Drew Lock what you have with these weapons. There's going to be weeks he has highs, there's going to be lows. I think the middle of it's going to give you a top 3 pick in the draft. So you're going to get a quarterback who may actually be your franchise guy, or B, a quarterback that's going to set you up to find your franchise quarterback through the draft. Either way, it's a win to me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I think Drew Lock has to be given the starting job. I don't. Geno Smith isn't going to show you anything that we haven't seen from him already. Figure out, see what you have in Drew Lock, and like you said, worst case scenario, you get a top 3 pick. Best case scenario, Drew Lock is actually something special for you guys because you've been saying for the longest he hasn't really had the opportunity, hasn't been given that fair shot.
Hmm.
This will be the opportunity. He'll be getting the keys to an offense. He'll be a starter with some awesome talent on the outside. So this is as good a time as any for Drew Lock to show what he's worth, and this is a perfect time for Seattle to literally just be like, "Hey, let's just we're playing with house money. Let's see what we got."